We once believed the Earth had no secrets left. Every continent mapped, every ocean crossed. Yet, while we were looking to the stars, Lost Archipelago was hiding beneath the Arctic fog. Where does it go? The part of our planet that refused to be seen? What if the last great discovery on Earth didn't happen centuries ago, but barely 100 years back? At the dawn of the 20th century, humanity thought it had seen everything. Airplanes filled the skies. Einstein was rewriting time itself, and newspapers declared there were no mysteries left to uncover. But part of the planet was still asleep beneath the ice, unseen, untouched, unimagined. While we looked to the stars, dreaming of Mars and distant galaxies, an entire piece of our own world lay hidden behind a wall of white. That's what makes the story of the hidden Arctic islands so haunting, in an age of machines and modernity. The map was still incomplete. Imagine realizing that the world wasn't as finished as you thought. The explorers who found that truth didn't just redraw geography, they exposed the limits of human vision. Because even in an age of light, some places still refuse to be seen. There was a land no one knew existed, a ghostly mass between ice and sky, unseen by sailors, untouched by myths. No name, no record, just whispers in the fog. Then came its revelation, Severnaya Zemlya, a frozen body suspended between the Kara and Laptev seas, for massive islands and dozens of smaller ones. A lost archipelago of the Arctic, the size of a nation, yet ignored by humankind until 1913. It's strange, isn't it? It's that something so vast could remain invisible for so long. It's as if the planet decided to keep a secret for itself, waiting for the right moment or the right eyes to be found. In the high Arctic, the horizon lies. The ice mirrors the sky mirrors the sea, and all becomes one endless blur. For centuries, the Arctic mirage fooled explorers and even satellites, bending light and reason at the same time. Mountains floated in the air, islands shimmered, then vanished. Nature was playing its own trick, reminding us that what we see is never the whole truth. We thought we saw everything, but maybe we only saw what the light allowed. If even the eye can be deceived by fog and reflection, what about the mind? How many other truths were lost not to nature, but to our own distractions, our wars, our revolutions? While the ice slept, the rest of the world burned. Russia was drowning in revolutions. Empires were collapsing and machines were reshaping the cities. No one looked north. The Arctic exploration history was put on hold by human chaos. Even the native peoples of Siberia had no legends of Severnaya, no stories, no names. It was literally a land without a name. The noise of progress had drowned out the silence of discovery. It's ironic, the more the world industrialized, the less it saw. The North became a frozen time capsule, untouched while history melted around it. Until one ship, in 1913, saw something it was never meant to find. 1913. Aboard the Timir, Commander Boris Vilkitsky scanned the horizon and froze. A dark line cut through the white. The wind howled, the ice cracked, and for a long moment, silence. The impossible had appeared. They marked the coordinates but couldn't approach. The ice was too thick, the fog too heavy. They hadn't come to discover, they had come to trade. Yet destiny had other plans. They had stumbled upon the last great discovery on Earth. The world believed every corner had been mapped. A handful of sailors proved otherwise. Their discovery was only the beginning, because surviving there would demand more than courage. 2 years later, Georgy Ushakov and 3 men returned to finish what Vilkitsky had started. They would spend nearly 2 years isolated in the lost archipelago of the Arctic, facing cold so brutal it erased the meaning of time. Ushakov wrote, "Nothing on Earth felt as lifeless or as alive as that place. The silence was physical, pressing against the lungs. In that emptiness, every sound, a breath, a footstep, echoed like a heartbeat. They mapped the void by hand with broken compasses and fading ink. They weren't chasing glory. They were searching for proof that the unknown still existed. And beneath their feet, it did, waiting to tell its own story. Beneath the ice of Severnaya lies more than stone, its memory itself. Layers of frozen air, volcanic dust, and ancient snow preserve thousands of years of history. Each one is a sentence in the planet's autobiography. Modern satellites now scan these Russian Arctic islands, uncovering mountain ranges and riverbeds hidden beneath the ice. Every melt erases a line. Every radar pulse reveals another secret. The Earth remembers, even when we forget. Understanding the Arctic is understanding ourselves, our fragility, our arrogance, our short attention span. But what happens when curiosity turns into greed? Under the frozen crust of Severnaya Zemlya lie treasures that could tempt any nation: gas, oil, minerals. Yet the true wealth of this place isn't what's buried beneath, but what it teaches above. It's the ultimate Arctic climate change evidence, a frozen archive of truth. To exploit it would be to destroy it. Every dringe would erase another line of the planet's story. The richest places on Earth may be the ones we cannot afford to touch. If the ice preserves the past, what happens when it begins to melt? The Arctic is melting faster than any other region on Earth. Rivers now flow where ice walls once stood, and the planet's white mirror begins to crack. The Arctic climate change evidence has become impossible to ignore. Each melt shifts the balance, sea levels rise, storms grow stronger, and the planet's rhythm falters. The clock is ticking, but most of us pretend not to hear it. When the Arctic melts, the world remembers. Yet, even as the ice retreats, life continues to breathe among the ruins. Even in desolation, life refuses to vanish. Polar bears hunt across fragile ice, foxes sprint across endless plains, and birds navigate thousands of miles just to land on a patch of frozen ground. Survival here isn't strength, it's negotiation. Every creature bargains daily with death, and somehow, for now, wins. That fragile persistence is what defines this region. Not emptiness, but defiance. And still, one species stands apart. Ours. Watching, measuring, calculating, not to coexist, but to claim. As the ice retreats, the borders move. The northern sea route geopolitics reshapes global trade, shrinking distances between continents. The Arctic has become a new chessboard of power. Russia fortifies Severnaya, Zemlya, and the surrounding Russian Arctic islands, asserting control over this frozen frontier. Each iceberg hides a border, each map a claim. The tension is quiet, but it's real. It's not just nations competing, it's humanity against its own limits. How do you claim ownership over what's melting beneath your feet? The last great discovery on Earth became the first great warning of the modern age. It took centuries to find Severnaya Zemlya and mere decades to endanger it. We mapped it, celebrated it, and then began to erase it. The Lost Archipelago of the Arctic turned from triumph to tragedy, a mirror reflecting our inability to protect what we admire. We discovered it to see our reflection, and it's melting away. But before the story ends, there's another twist. What if some islands were never real at all? Throughout history, explorers charted lands that existed only in imagination. Hybrosil, said to rise once every 7 years from the mist. Sandy Island, shown on modern maps until scientists sailed there and found only ocean. These phantom islands reveal as much about human hope as about human error. They're cousins to the hidden Arctic islands, proof that belief can shape reality just as much as observation does. Some islands never existed, others disappeared, but all remind us how little we really see. And perhaps the next undiscovered world isn't lost, just waiting to be noticed. Exploration never ended. It just changed its address. The new frontiers lie beneath the oceans and beyond the stars. We've mapped Earth, but not our curiosity. Scientists dive into abyssal trenches searching for new forms of life. Others aim telescopes at the icy moons of Jupiter, where oceans might lie hidden under alien ice. The new Severnaya Zemlya might not be on Earth. We no longer sail to find new lands, but to rediscover our sense of wonder. Because, as long as there are questions, there will be invisible worlds waiting to be found. We didn't conquer the Arctic. We exposed ourselves to it. The ice never hid from us. We were the ones who refused to look. Every melted glacier is a reminder that discovery means nothing without preservation. Because the greatest frontier isn't distance, it's awareness. If this story made you see the world a little differently, subscribe and turn on the notifications. There's much more hidden history waiting beneath the surface.